Welcome back to Buzz TV. I'm your host, Morgan Young, and with me today is Clayton Miller with Cramer Law Center. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for asking. So tell me a little bit about Cramer Law Center.
Well, Cramer Law Center is an estate planning firm. We're in the Mandarin area, and there are two attorneys there. We're kind of a small firm. It's myself and Jeffrey Cramer, and he is the founder of the Cramer Law Center. And I started there about 6 months ago at the beginning of January.
Okay. And how did you get into estate planning?
Well, I've been an attorney for a little over 10 years, and after I got out of law school, I got a job with Jacksonville Area Legal Aid, and there are several offices in this area, but I worked in downtown Jacksonville. Jacksonville Area Legal Aid is a legal services for low-income residents in this area, and I worked there for about 9 years, mostly in foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. When I started there, it was kind of when the market turned south, so there were a lot of consumer issues that needed to be addressed. And I worked there for a little while and then moved into the private sector, and that's where I am now, continuing to help people, but in this case, help people with their estate plans.
Definitely. So how do you help people with their estate planning? What do you think they need to know about estate planning?
Well, the number one thing I believe that they need to know is that they need to plan. That's the number one problem that we see as estate planning attorneys. The majority of the people don't plan. A lot of the planning that we do run into, unfortunately, is reactive planning instead of proactive planning. And with reactive planning, it usually comes in a crisis situation. And a lot of times it can be very costly. And we can put numbers on some of it, but some of the stuff we can't put numbers on. For instance, if you have a loved one that becomes disabled and they can't control their finances and there's no estate plan done, then it's likely that a guardianship would have to be filed in the Duval County court system to allow you to get access to their funds and control how their medical care is taken from that point forward. Guardianships are costly. We can put a price on it. If the guardianship goes smoothly, it may be anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000, and that's if no one objects, if no other family members come in and fight the guardianship. Something that we can't put a price on is if the wrong guardian is appointed. If you have a loved one and the wrong guardian is appointed, there's no telling what you would have paid for that not to happen.
Of course. And how do your services help with planning for estate?
Well, we're basically focused on trust planning. And with trust planning, we can do a lot of that disability planning. With wills, you can't really do any disability planning because they only come into play after you pass away. So trust, a living trust, provides for you while you're still alive, obviously. And you can do disability planning within the trust. So you can define how you become disabled. You can define who is going to take care of you once you become disabled. And you can define where you want to go and what you want to do when you're disabled. Even to the point where you can say, hey, I want to be in this facility and I want to watch the Golf Channel all day, which is what I would want to do. So
definitely. And if people want to get a hold of you for estate plans, how could they do so?
We have a website. It's cramerlawcenter.com, and Cramer is spelled with a C. Our phone number is 904-448-9978. Every month we hold Truth About Estate Planning workshops. I'm doing the next one, and it is on July 13th at 6:30. We would just ask that you RSVP so we know how many people are going to be there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thank you.
Of course. Thank you guys for tuning into The Buzz. I'm your host, Morgan Young, and we'll see you next time.